right, everybody. If you're joining us, it's about 11 degrees where I am, which is really cold. But if you think that's cold, it is 11 below where Yermo is over in the Dakotas. 11
Yay!
below. Okay, Yermo. So the first thing we got to do is I have to invite you to this chess.com classroom thing.
Oh, yeah. Hang on a second. I need to... okay. Let me open another browser so I get all that stuff in there.
Sure.
So I'll go to live chess on chess.com and I'll wait for your invitation.
Okay, good. Let's see. Yermo. What are you over there, Yermolinsky, or you just Yermo?
I'm Alex Yermo.
Oh, Alex Yermo. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, there you are. Alex Yermo. Invite.
Okay, yeah. Well, you have a classroom. How's that? Eh?
I got a classroom, buddy. Yeah.
Classroom, man. You got a classroom.
And I'm going to give you control to move the pieces around.
Well, I don't really have anything useful to say, so anyhow.
There we go. So let me tell you the story. This was, of course, the heartbreaking game for me, Alex, where I was playing.
But you won it.
No,
it says 0-1.
Oh, I saved it wrong. That was probably a hopeful save on my part.
Yeah.
That was like
you're in denial, so you lose a game and you still like put it in your records as a win. Very good.
A Freudian slip, man. Yeah, so I think we'll see what you think. There's a couple moments in particular I want to talk to you about it. I think the guy played from a certain point, not the opening phase or the early middle game, but the technical phase. I thought he played really well, so we can check it out. Okay, so
here we go. All right, bishop a6, all good.
Yeah.
Now check.
Okay. Now, I don't want to spend too much time on the opening. And actually, after this, maybe I haven't even gone through. So let me just tell you again my process, Yermo, is that after I look at it with you, I'll maybe check a couple things with the computer, but mostly I'll just check the database. I had studied this, and I think, Yermo, like a lot of this is maybe what's typical of senior chess is that we don't really remember our openings that exactly, especially in a maneuvering position like this. So anyways, I think when he plays this move, bishop c3,
that's one of the choices. Either the knight goes to c3 or the bishop.
And so all I'm saying is, like, back in the day, right, what used to almost every black player did was they would go c6 and d5.
No, but c6 is only necessary if he plays knight to c3.
Well,
Against
okay.
the bishop to c3, you don't need to move the c pawn to c6. Why?
Well, exactly.
You'll be happy to take with the e pawn against the knight on d2.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Pop, pop, pop. And then I could play c6, but I think that's better. Okay.
I suppose, c5,
So, all right.
The difference is, obviously, with the knight on c3, they can still go like the bishop to f4 or whatever, and they put pressure. Then here, white's not putting pressure on your hanging pawns, as far as I can tell.
Right.
Go with the hanging pawns.
So he takes, which I think, it can't be wrong, but I think it just makes my life a little easier because then I know that my rook wants to go to e8,
Okay.
Plays rook e1. And now I played bishop b7, but I think, like, from a practical point of view, it might have been better to play rook e8 first. It probably doesn't make a difference. But okay, I played bishop.
Oh, but your bishop on a6 already did its job.
That's how I felt about it. And you can see from the time I played it pretty quickly. I played bishop b7. Pop. 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 Okay, maybe around here is where we should start talking about. I feel like I have a feeling, and I'm going to look in the database, we're going to find more than one game at a high level with this position. And it's very fascinating. And later, Yermo, we're going to see one of the most complicated tactical positions of all time, for me anyways, for all time.
So you're moving your knight to, what, e6?
E6, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Are there any other plans, except for, besides knight f8?
It seems like there has to be, but that one is pretty standard.
No,
Knight f8.
because if in this situation, since there is no pressure against d5, if the white ever plays knight f5, would you be able to take?
I think I can take it, yeah.
So what if you play a5, like they do often with the hanging pawns, trying to play a4? And
Oh, whoa, what happened? Hold on, let me get it back.
what if you play a5? What's white's plan?
Hold on, let me go back. I don't know, something happened there. So right. Wait, sorry.
Couple of moves before.
There we go. So here, A5.
Yeah. What's white's plan?
Okay, that's interesting. I
Is
have to
white
admit-
going to go knight to e5? So that's sort of a difficult part for me to process.
I don't believe in knight E5.
But perhaps we should take a look.
But in that similar vein, I could also play A5 already right here.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. But I mean, how can rook e8 hurt?
Well, one thing that's interesting is on knight E5. Let's say I played A5 here.
Okay.
Are you moving? Did you do that? How did
I'm not doing anything. Well, yeah.
It gets a little jumpy with me. All right. So
No,
A5.
I'm not jumpy. I'm not doing anything.
The difference would be that if knight E5. What? Oh, it's jumping around.
What?
No, this is chess.com. It's like I'm hitting something and then it's jumping all around. Let me try
No,
this.
that's what chess.com, the new teaching tool, so all they
All right,
they
it's
move you
crazy.
away from difficult.
Ah!
Listen, I figured it out, Some positions it can give you headache because there are so many things to do, and it's like you calculate, you look at this, and then you have to evaluate because you don't come to conclusions anywhere. And chess.com wants you, no.
All right, I reloaded the
They want to
thing.
help you, They try to help you.
All right, I
So
reloaded. So
you-
one difference, let's hopefully this
Okay.
works, is that in this position, in addition to knight E4, which seems like equal, fuck. Oh,
Brilliant.
Yermo, it's
Yeah.
killing me, boss. It's killing me. Oh.
I have nothing to do with that. Okay.
Okay, this is clearly not my problem. It's chess.com. I'm going to try one more time, and then I don't know what's going to happen. So one difference, I'm going to try to do it one more time, is that in this position, I can also play knight E8. Okay, let me... Oh! Fuck!
Oh, more jumps. No, this one was the longest.
Okay, I'm going to try to take away your full control. I know it has nothing to
Oh,
do
yeah,
with you.
well, take it away from me.
I'm just trying to just
I
make
know
it
I'm
work.
doing this, but, well, it doesn't mean that you have to believe
So, all right. No, I didn't.
It's
I
difficult
believe
to
you.
catch people when they do things during their online chess sessions.
So anyways, it would give me the option of doing this knight E8 move.
So you want to bring your knight to
C7.
C7 and E6. And, but then, of course, he will start with the F pawn, and if he plays F4, you're going to play F5.
No, if he plays F5, I don't know if it's good because then I have bishop G5. So imagine
Oh,
F4.
yeah.
Ah,
Brilliant.
God
That's
damn, chess.com. What is the problem? All right, hold on. I'm going to close this window. I'm just going to try to do this. Chess.com is killing me today. Whew, chess.com, buddy. You're killing me, bows. All right, let's try this again. Just try this again, chess.com.
Touchpads, I have nothing here. Well, I'm doing absolutely nothing.
I'm not blaming it on you,
You
man.
know what? Like when I came to a chess club as an 8-year-old kid, one problem that kids have, they like to touch chess pieces. They actually don't play chess; they play with chess pieces. So no, well, in the best tradition of pedagogical school in Mother Russia, they made all of us sit on our hands.
Okay, Yermo, I'm gonna invite you
So
again,
this
buddy.
is one of the great things, that I learned to say. Wow, the Soviet chess of school, you're so fortunate you were there, like came back one, and I go, yeah, right, and I'm thinking, what did I learn from the Soviet school of chess? To sit on my hands.
All right, Alex, I invited you, buddy.
Good.
All right, I'm gonna
All
try
right,
this.
how about if we return a little early in the game?
So
Maybe like
A5.
40 moves.
Let's just see
But
if it works. Let's just see if it works. So A5, interesting move, and it is hard to know. Oh, let's say knight. Oh shoot, I want to try. Wait, I want to try it, not before rook E8. So A5, and so the idea would be if knight E5 here, then I could
yeah,
take
but
and then
it's
play knight E8.
happening only on Twitch now. It's not happening on chess.com.
No, because I invited you, buddy, and then you haven't accepted yet. I started a new window, and you have to accept it.
Well, it's always me. Okay. Let me see.
Let me try it again, man. Let me try it again.
Okay,
Okay, now you're there?
no, hang on a second. I have to leave one page and
There you are, buddy. Okay.
and go to the other one. Okay, knight e8. So you want to move your knight about. Okay, great stuff. So if he plays a 4, you don't want to play a 5?
No, I don't think I need to, because if F5, then that move's really annoying.
Is it? Okay. Well, yeah. Well, what's he gonna do here? E4?
I guess. But then I can kill his bishop on B2 with D4.
Which leads to, I don't know what. I mean, well, it could go both ways because he has this knight coming to C4, he hits on B6, and then there's D6, and then.
Okay, but let's just say I
Well, in
think.
my understanding, no, it's all fine.
Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking of playing F5 always. If he continues with F4, I wanted to put my pawn on F5, but perhaps you're right. For that purpose, the rook could stay on F8.
All right. Anyways, I think A5 is a reasonable suggestion. Sure, I could have played A5 here. It
So if you
poses
go
like
A5, you're gonna go A4, and we don't care if he takes.
right.
But well, then again, it's not so obvious. There always this issue with the bishop on b7 being loose. So,
But one of the nice things I like about A5 is that it poses just a simple question to White, and it's not easy for him to know what to do here. And it's just a simple plan, yeah.
no, well, there are two things that white normally does in such positions. Well, one, of course, is still knight to e5.
Knight E5, right?
And another one is, well, I don't really believe it, with this moving the knight from f1 to e3, but I've seen this done. I don't like it for white. It's so artificial. Knight f1, knight to e3. But the question is what to do with the d2 knight.
Yeah.
So this I was saying in the beginning, but when the white knight is on c3, then white, generally speaking, they accept those positions. They like to play against those hanging pawns and potential hanging pawns with d takes c5, which is not always the case with the knight on d2. That knight is really quite poor. So I suppose that was the entire purpose of playing bishop to e6 and move 4, is to misplace the white knight. And now you got all this. From white's point of view, I would say you should take a better look at knight a5, because otherwise I see no plan for white.
True, yeah. And one of the problems, actually, about White's position is that once he plays rook e1, then the knight e5 plan loses a lot of its power because there's f4 comes with less punch if I decide to take it.
Well, that is true, but no, he was annoyed by the pressure on e2 and the pinned pawn and whatnot.
I get it, yeah. I think he could have considered knight e5 here too.
No, right, so well, then you take, and you play your move knight to e8.
I might be able to, yeah, knight e8.
Yeah.
This is the position I looked at, actually.
E5 is protected, which would have, no, right, and then
Something like this.
seemed to be, yeah. No, well, I get it, of course. Here it's a different story. He doesn't have the move e4. So
Right.
that's rather awkward, you know, if your bishop arrives to e3. Can they anyhow, some way get around it? It's going to be hard.
But I agree with you that this would have been, but all I'm trying to say is, if he wants to play knight e5, rook e1 doesn't jive with it, really.
You think so?
Feels to
No,
me like...
I actually, I think he has to play rook e1 anyhow.
Okay.
Well, I just don't know why. I mean, one of the things there, obviously, if no, you mentioned that e4 and then you play d4 and you shut down that bishop, but it could go both ways because white also gets some sizable majority on the king side.
No, I would say this is like a, I don't know, I would put it as counterplay position, right? Just an interesting game.
No, well, he probably goes e4 here, and then you said you'll go d4.
Well, I have other options too. If I wanted to, I could trade it out.
You don't need to do anything. That he's not threatening.
He's not even threatening anything, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the move d4, no, yeah, but we know that white's answer. They're gonna go knight c4.
Even this weird move is kind of interesting. I'm not sure about that one actually, but okay.
Well, about that one,
Or this move, Yermo. That's a nice. That's the move we want right there.
so you want to play a3.
Well, also I'm
Okay,
just
so
in this.
suppose
Yeah.
suppose he follows up with his play and just takes on d5. He wants to play his knight to c4. a3 or not, well, it doesn't matter.
All right, let's try a3.
It's probably bishop to c1.
C1, right?
We're trying to get to d6 or somewhere in that general area. Yeah, so he's probably gonna play his knight, but now I'm not sure if it has to be e4 or c4. c4 seems more attractive to me. Knight to c4. He's happy to trade these bishops.
Yeah. Okay. No,
It's not necessarily. I think that when you said things about f4, f5, it almost sounded to me like you treated this as white's attempt to checkmate you, not necessarily trying to checkmate you.
okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Like in this case, white is not playing for any checkmates. White actually plays for some kind of an endgame,
Yeah. Fair enough.
which is not going to be 100% clear because, say, if you, if in that final position, even if you,
Okay. So
I-
finally, yeah, I think white has a very.
no, but probably you don't really want this position that much because of this. But I'm thinking, what would happen if you? Would that really be very bad if you just played, like? I wanted to play b5, but I'm not sure. I wanted to put the pawn on b4 and give him whatever. But then I'm afraid I'm going to lose on c5. It's just in the end game, I was hoping that the queenside pawn on a3 would.
And you're also like we should say on knight e5. There's no real threat, so I don't have to even take it right away.
Well, that is true. That's the main thing that that black has to figure out. Maybe you don't want to take. Maybe you don't want that. So then fine. Then he's going to go his knight d to f3. And, no.
It's still a question. I don't know exactly what I do here. But, yeah.
No, you played knight d7 because a lot of people place their knight on a6. And you've seen this many times. In fact, I recall, I'm this old that I recall the times when Black just started putting the knight on a6 in such positions from the Queen's Indian. And there were young guys of my generation like Psakis, Yudasin, Aseyev. And they played this knight to a6, and the old masters and later grandmasters, they were like, you can't play like this. They expected white to win. And then, the positions were very complex. You said it yourself, there's going to be a whole lot of tactics and all that. And, sitting there thinking that you got a large positional advantage because of this, and move 12, it's not helping a chess player. Well, it helps them only get in time trouble because they get frustrated. So I learned, how difficult it is for white to play against those things. But you play your knight to d7, which is not a mistake. Yeah. But I suppose that you play it with the idea of capturing on e5 as soon as that knight appears.
Well, but also to do what I did, to play this knight f8 plan.
Okay, you get to, a6, c7, e6. Or d7, f8, e6.
True, yeah, true.
That's 3 moves, yeah. Obviously, the knight on e6 was the main thing for these guys. As I said, I only have most of my knowledge is from the other side, from the white side. I only had very few games on the black side of this throughout this whole time. But I saw other people, it became mainstay for their opening repertoire. And, they done very well. I mean, Psakis became, 2 times USSR champion in his early 20s.
Okay, let's get to these. There's a couple positions I really thought.
All right, so you came here, so he's doing this, but he's doing nothing. So the A pawn goes forward.
Well, I just played bishop f8.
No, so you are making the point that if he takes on c5, you're okay with the double pawns?
Now, I'm just going to confess something here, Yermo. I'm just going to confess.
The idea of bishop f8.
The idea of a5, a4, it didn't cross my mind either in the game or in the board when I analyzed it by myself. But here, of course, it makes sense. Of course.
You're on the queen, kind of, if you're rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
That's useful. Yeah.
Yeah, why not, right?
I don't know.
He would have to solve he has some basic questions to answer right now. Yeah, that honestly, that has to be better than what I did. It's just so unpleasant for him to answer the question.
No, what if he plays a4? What if he just says, "Okay, I'm gonna do this."
But then I think I can say that's a favorable, even if I just play bishop f8 like I did in the game, that's a favorable transformation for me.
So basically, neither side has the knights anywhere near the b5 and b4 squares. Maybe it's a fair trade-off. But... Okay, never mind. Okay, forget about a5 since it's not
an
part of the
move.
Discussion.
No,
maybe
I think it's important.
When we look at a little deeper in these positions, maybe we'll be able to discern the difference between what happened in the game and the similar thing that would have happened if this A pawn moves were included.
Okay, so I played this. I basically just had a very simple idea that I wanted to centralize the pieces, right? Okay.
Which I still don't see. I still don't get it. But
all right, let's look at what happens.
I can be patient.
Rook d1. Now it's going to get really hot really fast. Here we go. Queen e7. Knight f1.
Okay, so he's doing this maneuver here. So you absolutely don't care to look at dc5, right? So
no, I did it in my notes. I thought it was really In fact, I think, okay, it's the way I describe this, Yermo, is like when he goes this whole plan with Queen A1 and Knight F1, it's like he's playing this romantic style of chess, right? Like, because he's giving me the center now. I get 94, I get
Well,
beautiful center control, and he's playing for, some beautiful mating attack on the dark squares or something.
wow.
All right, I got to go
No,
deal with it. I got to.
Dmitry has always had this ability to,
You're going to go to timeout.
to see things that is ideas, very, very deep tactical ideas, mainly they're based on tactics in the middle game. He's the magician of the middle game. Well, I'm thinking, that some kind of I don't know, more of a routine player would probably play d takes c5. I know, example, Ilya Nizhny. Okay, I know that, different generations and whatnot. Nizhny would not spend more than 10 seconds on d takes c5.
Sorry, Yermo. What were you saying about DC5?
I was saying that there are different players. So Dmitry, he's indeed a poetic and romantic player. So
Yeah.
he always been like this. More of a practical players. They like Ilya Nizhnik. I don't know why Nizhnik crossed my mind. So he will take on c5 in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. And honestly, I think the kind of player, here's something interesting. The kind of player who would take on c5 is not the guy who would play bishop b2, queen a1. You already have to be a romantic at heart in order to play bishop b2, queen a1.
Queen to a1. I don't know. If Dmitry didn't like to move knight e5, and apparently he didn't, no, what else could he have done? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really read much into queen a1. To me, this rook c2 and queen a1, Reti did it in his opening. At least here white gets something out of this. So you don't want to trade queens.
And
Okay, I honestly don't get it, like, what do you find so attractive about black's position here?
I think it's hard to evaluate. I'm not saying that black is better or anything, but I have obviously I would say white has, both of us have compensation for the problems, right? I have the bishops in the center, and the guy has the f5 square.
Now again, I'm a guest here, and the guests, they have to respect their hosts. Yeah, the host is over there. Then he doesn't get any respect from over there, from these guys, the kids. Yeah, of course. Anyway.
So you don't, but okay, it's fair to say you don't like it. Just say it. Just say you don't like it.
I don't like black's position, and I think the white is clearly better. And I don't think it's gonna take a long time for a skillful player to find a way. Now, I mean, it may be about this knight, so maybe it's all about this knight. Maybe the knight has to come out, and even from b1 to c3 or whatever. So e3 he will probably play. I mean, your bishop on b7 currently, no, it's unprotected. And I doubt that d4 will ever work.
Okay, but here in this position, I have a choice between queen e6 and queen e5. They're both kind of interesting. My intuition is queen e6.
So it's going somewhere, right?
No, I just want to hold the center. I'll probably play my rook on a8 to somewhere. Maybe
So-
even your a5
So
move.
he needs to improve the knight. So there are two ways of doing this. One is via f3, e1, d3, which is sort of like the other one, b1, c3. But you seem to be, you committed your knight to c7, so therefore. And thirdly, there is always this move b4 at this moment. Which it's probably the best move. And so you're going to discard queen e6 because we discovered before.
Actually, I mean, honestly, fair. Fair.
Well, we discard queen e6.
Well, not only that, but maybe I should discard it here because look, in this position, even if I wanted to do knight g7, Okay, no,
So
it's
you
true.
don't-
It's
but-
true. It's true.
but
It's true.
then-
Okay, wait.
But then you provided some protection to your d5 pawn. If you go knight g7,
Okay, so a5. Let me try a5 to promote this variation.
a5, yeah, a5 is also useful against this before ideas. So you move your queen back to e7 and play instead a5.
No, I didn't move it back. It started on e7.
Ah, okay.
So just to remind people, the way this variation went pop, pop, pop.
Yeah. And now this e3, no, because before was too early, you would just take.
Yeah.
And now you don't want this move and you want a5. Oh yeah.
Wait, maybe maybe you could really hurt me here though. Maybe you play b4 anyway.
How can I play before? You're just gonna take that thing.
Okay, and then knight f5.
Oh, there is some bishop h3 business. No, okay, fine, you know. And if queen d8 and white has some kind of knight jump.
Well, or you could just say that's good compensation. That's really good compensation. Maybe just here even. But we got it.
Well,
now
compensation is one thing, but if that black knight arrives to c3, then it's going to be the end of the compensation. I cannot sit there, you know, and say, I got squares. Yeah, right. How much? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see the square on a 5. It's like, I can do anything now, I got the f5. That's the problem with the old masters. Okay, I go back to this, you know, like I was there. Think about it. There's like, I don't know, they're everywhere. Everywhere you go. I traveled, I played tournaments in remote corners of the country. And everywhere in the chess club, I said in some places more, in some places less. They said some guys over there, they were masters. And the master there meant, no, okay, well, they probably, but I mean, at least they had to be at some moment like, no, senior master strength of the USCF, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, since then, you know, they stopped playing, they got old, you know, whatnot, but they talk big game. They would point us, they would literally rub your face into that f5 square. They would say, what are you doing? Where did you learn to play chess? Look at the f5 square. And the only way to deal with these people would be to kick their ass by accepting the pawn on b4, going knight b5 to c3. I was winning, but this punk, you know, he doesn't know anything about chess. I got the square on the 5 on move 10. I mean, I've heard this, I've heard it all. Before I even like turned 25, you know, I've seen people like this. So, hey, let's put it this way. I totally respect your idea of allowing this g takes f6. And I would never belittle it because of the f5 square. Absolutely not.
No, but okay, let me just say what's interesting to me is just your intuition is that white's on top. Fine. I don't know.
Intuitively, I feel that black just doesn't quite have enough.
Okay, that's
in this situation. I think maybe you're giving him too much and too soon. He didn't really have to work for it, right? All he had to do is to play the romantic queen a1, and then he's given this.
Actually,
and he doesn't have to...
Wait a second. This is all a blunder. Look, first of all, knight h4 is unplayable because of knight d4. So you have to play,
that's understandable.
You have to play e3 first.
No, well, yeah. Of course.
But it's transposes, I guess, and then it's an interesting position. So this has to be the main position to guess about how we feel about it.
No, well, look, if I'm afraid it's not going to work. No, there is sort of a radical attempt to. You could play a5 and try to play a4. I mean, that's another thing, you know, that it's difficult. But I mean...
Also in this position, a5 is really interesting here. Just play it right away.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that certainly is possible too.
Okay, wait, so I want to say that this is the main... If he takes...
Well, a5 certainly is the... Yeah, the move knight c7 perhaps is not the most... Okay, forget about knight h4, it was outright blunder.
Yeah, that was an
I don't
outright
know.
blunder. Yeah,
Well,
that was
I mean,
my.
I
You can
wasn't
blame that
looking
on
at
me. So A5, yeah.
So A5. So you want to play A4, but it's not really gonna change a whole lot.
Well,
I
black
mean,
is
you
right.
stopped before, which is good, but
I'm just trying to hold the position, honestly, because if my bishop's in the center and the knight on D2, the knight on D2 doesn't really have, well, it's running out of dreams, right? It needs a dream.
no, well, he's gonna play knight H4 here. Okay, well, you need to start looking at some tactics or whatnot. So, okay, he sticks his knight to F5. At least it forces you to go Queen D8, which was not your plan. Now, in this situation, all right. So the other knight, so C5 is covered. It's D5 that had to be hit. It's not easy to hit D5. I'm thinking. Okay, knight E4, obviously the first move that comes to mind.
Uh-oh.
Because it hits F6.
No, that's very unpleasant.
It is. The capture on B3 is probably not gonna make a whole lot of difference. If you take on F6, the pawn is on C2, but well, we almost mated. So chop on C2. What's the deal here? Material-wise, it could go either way. I was not ready to declare white victory because of this.
That's an interesting position. I'm going to take on A2, obviously, next.
No, well, yeah, that's the whole thing. No, I mean, Rook C1 has to be played. Well, there's just no two ways about it. Now you grab that pawn. Surprisingly, you don't get mated. Now, what can white do in terms of making mating threats? They don't exist. So you cannot do this. And he probably doesn't. No, right, so we need to look at this Queen C3 to answer D4 with Queen B3 and try to figure out the tactics. Queen C3, D4, Queen B3 or Queen C4.
But I could also play Rook A8 now.
Yeah. So with that move, you prepare to play Rook to A3.
Well, and I prevent Rook C2, right?
On Rook C2, that's going to be the trade followed by back rank thing and Bishop A6. Right?
Exactly, right. Well, okay, Yermo, let's say this.
So that's why, I'm not that convinced. I said, first of all, I need to look at knight A4 because I was kind of concerned with the queen sacrifice. But I understand that your plan was never to go back with your queen to D8.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that alone, see, the thing is, when we play games, we want to be consistent. Maybe somewhere in the back of your mind, there always this thought, okay, I'm going to play this game and then I'm going to show it, whatever, analyze it, publish it, show it to my students, whatever, And then somebody said, well, yeah, you call yourself a grandmaster. You played your queen to E7 and 2 moves later your queen's back to D8. You just want to be a better person. You want to present yourself in a better light. But in the reality, in a chess game, things never go as planned.
Well, but Yermo, let me put it this
So
way.
if you have to go back, you have to go back. We'll accept it. You like to move A5, and you cannot discard the move A5 in that line, only because he gets to play knight F5 and you must go queen D8. That is minor.
Right. So one of the things about this position, talking about the queen, is that I feel like in a lot of ways black has many trumps in this position with the center control especially, but his one problem really is the queen. We're going to see it in the game too. So check it out. Knight F1.
Queen, there are a lot was said about like the square on E6. Does it belong to the black knight or to the black queen? In this whole general setup.
Yeah.
Such positions. All right, so I suppose that most people would have captured on C5. So he's doing this, and he wants knight f5. Brilliant.
So here you can see my queen is obviously mildly unhappy on c7 as well.
Yeah, there is a pin. So is that the right time for him to do this thing with dc5?
Well, here he goes. Here he goes. So, by the way, Yermo, this position that we're about to look at, I spent several hours on. It's amazing. It's amazing. We're about to, here we go. Pop, pop.
Yeah.
And now the guy plays a move, again, romantic. I think the safe move for him would be, I don't know if safe, but would be
B4?
B4 would be, let's call it the normal move. And then for my mind, I just said this was an unclear
Yeah,
position.
you go c4, of course. All right, so this position is it's far from being whatever. This position is... No, all right, well, if we look at this, you're not really threatening to capture on b4 because g7 pawn is rather more important.
My sample variation went like this: pop, and then
No, here one good thing happens. He doesn't have any direct way of winning you, unless well. So you say that if you take on a7, you take on b4.
right.
Okay. Yeah, I don't spot any particularly dangerous tactics from white. I was a little concerned that he can attack, and then if the bishop goes back, then it'll be bishop b6. But I suppose you can deal with this.
I can always play bishop c5 if I need to.
Yeah, bishop c5. Yeah, bishop c5. No, he should not take on a7. That would be a mistake.
Okay, but so Yermo, this was
This position, it's sort of balanced.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
people would say that white stands better, but these people, as I described, eventually they will get in time trouble, blunder something, and this. So let them do this. You don't want to. Well, when the opponent has a delusion, right? So he's deluded. So you want him to stay in this blissful state. No, so let him sit there, like puff his cheeks, say, I can do this, I can play that, I have the whole board at my disposal. And then, eventually he's going to take a look, and then see that the time on the clock is getting short. And then you crank up your tactics, and then you win. And then that's it. Then you're probably going to hear some unpleasant words from your opponent. Like how poorly you played this game and how you totally didn't deserve to win. But well, one thing, that I don't like that move that white played knight f3 to d4 after b4. I think it only helped black. If you could return, if you go back this position, I think white should look at more tactical play, something more interesting. Like, for example, in this position, then they could possibly start with knight e5. I don't know if we can take the pawn on b4. I'm not so sure about this.
But what's the idea? What's your trick?
No idea. What about your pawn on c4? Is anybody joking here to take on e4 and grab your pawn in the middle?
Okay.
Well, the idea is to take on e4, basically, but then they need to find some kind of interpretation of this idea that would work. But I'm not 100% sure, that would work. I had another thing which is probably too far-fetched, but at some moment I was thinking of playing like knight to g4, and together with bishop takes e4, then it can be some sacrifices on g7, but it will probably not going to work. But first I want to see if you play c3 here.
Okay, I mean, that would be my first
good
question.
move.
I don't know what you want.
Yeah, well, is c3 a good move? Because maybe c3 refutes this whole thing.
You got to take it, right?
I suppose. But no, I can't quite figure it out. No, now he cannot take with the rook because it drops the knight. So he must take with the queen. And I couldn't get any deeper than this. But maybe I didn't have to, because if white is up a pawn, if you cannot take on b4, then what's the problem then? Then white is just good.
But watch, pop, pop.
I thought there would be this. Okay, then there will be some kind of knight c5, yeah. And knight c5 is going to be very useful because you're gonna also open up on the e5 knight. I'm just trying to help our. Now you must go g6 and play for knight d4.
Yeah.
You know, somehow, some way. But do we have the time? Or does it have knight takes b4?
Knight takes b4. Right?
Well, maybe we came just one move short of taking advantage of that rook on b3 that was rather exposed to knight jumps. But we didn't get anywhere, did we?
Okay, knight e5 is interesting, yeah.
So, but Dmitry was just thinking of removing your knight from e6 and winning the pawn on g7, right?
I feel like I have a lot of moves here, but
no, I know you have a lot of moves here.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that you said it before that, well, Dmitry played this poetic, romantic, you know, whatever it is, chess, and then, I mean, he wanted to checkmate you on g7.
Yeah, no, he's coming
I'm
for me.
giving them too much credit, you know, for this. It's not like, well...
This move might be playable too.
Oh no, so he takes on e4. I suppose he takes on e5.
Oh, I missed it.
It's the queen, yeah.
Okay. Let me show you what happened, Yermo.
Well, yeah, so he was just, very single-minded. He didn't want to bother with b4 because he thought the stage is set already, right? He takes on e6 and takes on g7. This is good.
So, okay, so here's where I make to my mind, like the first, this was very difficult position. But let me show you this crazy variation. Check this out. Knight takes.
Uh-huh.
Bishop takes. If he plays knight takes, I just play queen b6 and d4, and I'm much better, I think. Right? So
well, his knight, it's an excellent point. Well, the only thing that we can say, if he plays knight takes d4, yeah, let's show it for the audience. Yeah, you move your queen away. So he goes knight to f5, back to the spot, and then you shut down the bishop, and you prevent his knight from coming to c4.
Right.
So that's basically it.
That would be my dream right there, yeah.
Yeah, now you have threats. Now his attack is, initiative is over. You have all sorts of things. You have queen f6 on f2. Possibly his rook on c2 is loose.
No, he's already, he doesn't want this. So he's got to take here.
No, he cannot do this. He has to take with the bishop.
Now check out this variation, Yermo.
Okay.
G6.
Yeah.
Bishop e4. Now, here's an interesting mistake. DE, rook c5. First variation that's funny. Pop, 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 pop,
It's
pop.
going to be mate, queen f6.
Mate. So check it out. That's why,
Only one guy is laughing here. But
that's why though, if I take here, there's no mate. There's no mate if he plays rook c5.
well, obviously, yeah. And now, what's hanging? No, the knight is hanging. So his trade on e4 was for nothing, right?
Well, he kind of needs to take the knight, though, if he wants to take on c5. If he wants to take on c5.
But the capture on c5 doesn't work. Okay, no, right. Bishop takes e4, rook takes e4. Okay, let's look at this position a little more. Bishop e4, rook e4. So he plays his move, bishop takes c5. let's look at through this whole thing through.
Watch this move. Bam! It's an incredible move. You're almost, let me show you this variation, buddy. Look at this one. Boom. Bam! Oh, look at that! Holy shit! Look at this. Boom. Bam!
No, this is amazing.
Yeah.
No, but I'm trying to process this whole thing.
I get it. I get it.
All right, so let's bring this rook back to c1. So d4 is a brilliant move. Now, okay, is there anything that he can do here? So he has two pieces hanging. Now, as you block the diagonal, so, and bishop takes f8, you take the rook on c2,
I take the rook.
and again, you know, he has a lot of guys hanging there. And if anybody gonna checkmate, it's gonna be you.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't have anything here. He's in... No, d4 is pretty nice, yeah.
I kind of need to see this move though, in order to
No,
play.
yeah,
it this
without
way.
this move, and you say that queen c1, I'm looking at your notes,
Yeah,
queen
queen
c1 is also somehow refuted. Same thing. Well, he's up a rook.
He's up a rook, but he's got some problems because queen e2 is. I'm just going to take the rook, and then the mate threat stays.
That is true.
Yeah.
No, well, here I don't believe that he can survive. He may look at bishop takes f8, queen e2, queen d2, but it's always bad no matter what. You have choices
Right.
in that position, and you probably play your queen move somewhere, e4, or you're still gonna get your piece back, and then you up a pawn, and probably with me in attack. Yeah, I don't believe in White's position here. I think White's in big trouble despite the extra rook.
So, okay, check this out. This is very interesting what happened. So, I played queen b6, and I thought I was the one being clever. Let me just show you the tactic.
So the right move was, okay, let me
The knight
process.
move was knight takes d4.
Knight takes d4, and after he takes
With the
with the bishop, you would play g6.
g6 like a madman.
And here, if this whole stuff with bishop takes f4, because we saw a couple of checkmates on g2, if it doesn't work, then can he still kind of recover and play, say, knight back to e3? Before we completely abandon this, because this in itself, it's not, super convincing to me. Like, for example, in this, your move d4 is going to give him a chance to play knight c4.
But still, I think he's wasted because where is his bishop going to go?
Bishop, e5. For now, e5.
Oh, it's a fantastic position for black. His knight on c4, it doesn't matter. He's cut. The guy's cut. I don't know where to put the queen.
His queen is poorly placed.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And I'm going to have knight c3 later someday too. So I have two choices.
No, yeah, but knight c3 will only work if you keep your queen protecting your bishop.
So I have two great... Okay, but this is just a nice position for black because I got both of those moves are good moves for me. I guess this one makes more sense because I'm going to play queen f5.
No, there is no knight c3, right?
But I mean, he's not even threatening anything. I can do whatever I want now, right? I'm threatening queen f5 for sure. And knight f2, actually. I don't know. Not knight f2 yet.
Queen f5 is a good move because you also open up on the c2 rook. So therefore, I mean, It's not the kind of move that anybody wants to play, e3, because you've got d3.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
No, e3, you play d3.
Yeah.
No, the pawn is still there. No, yeah, so no, this whole thing, he clearly, White misplayed it. Also, in this position, well, I agree with you. It's White actually has to be concerned. No, right, so then the different way of defending this, and probably a better way than e3, which is suicidal, is to play queen to c1. Well, don't forget, you're not catching that bishop f6 is rather useless. There's always bishop c7 and it comes back to a5. So I'm stopping your queen f5. No, kind of dealing with that. Because you don't have the tactic. I thought you have queen f5, queen f4, knight g3. But after the queen trade, b7, the b7 bishop is gone.
Okay, but I think we could debate this, but black's clearly the one for choice here, right?
No,
I got it all.
Not at all. In these positions, it kind of like comes and goes in waves. You look at one set of tactical ideas, and the danger passes, and then you can never tell. It's going to be, at least in a practical game. Well, computers is certainly, whatever, but
But let's say I just played a simple move like bishop d5. I'm probably threatening to take the knight, and knight c3 is coming. Well, it looks very pleasant. Knight c3 is a hell of a drug.
No, yeah. So, I have to move the bishop around. So I played that move, bishop c7, that I told you about. I played bishop to c7.
All right. What is your intention?
No, I moved the bishop around to a5. Why do I have to resign here? You almost like that. You told me to resign already so many times. Getting a little pissed with that,
Okay, I'm just trying to say that black has a beautiful position.
I'm saying nothing here. I'm not for white. I'm not for black. I'm just lying. You told me that you're gonna hit f2. I came up with queen c1, f4. I will trade. I mean, I have no other choice, right? But can I? Do you have the tactic? Queen f5, queen f4, knight g3. Do you have
But even if I just wanted to be simple and play bishop g7 and play knight c3.
It's not going to work like this. I'm not going to buy into the simple stuff. The only way to convince me is to show me the tactical line that wins. Okay, play queen f5. On queen f4, take on g3. Show me the stuff. Show me the attack against c2. Oh, well, no, you don't want to do this.
No, we can
I'm
do
not
it.
buying this.
We can do it. We can do it.
Well, no. Well, the bishop
move,
was
yeah.
the bishop was on the. Why is the okay? The bishop's on the front. Yeah, this is the thing. This is the way you make your opponent shut up. I mean, in some ways, when you play chess, maybe you're debating this thing with your opponent. Obviously, you're both silent, but the moves do the talking. There is no sense in sitting there and saying, "Oh, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better, I'm better." Well, this is going to convince him. You win a pawn, and he's screwed. This is it, right?
This is it.
No, well, yeah, because he doesn't have this. There is not enough attack after e4. e4 won't work. So he takes on f5, queen takes, and e4 just bishop e4. There is not enough. You have the rook on e8. Which you wisely put on e8. So this is how you decide this whole thing. No, anyway, so my opinion on this, that I agree with you to an extent. Well, your calculations, first of all, your calculations were beautiful. You saw the move d4 in a critical line. If he continues and plays bishop takes e4 to take on c5 and checkmate, your d5, d4 is absolutely fantastic, and I refuse the whole thing. And if he backtracks with the move knight e3, he certainly lost his advantage if he had any.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised, if this position becomes unpleasant for white. Unpleasant to the extent that I will answer your queen f5 with rook f1. And after that you can say I'm that you're winning again.
Then I could say I'm better.
I'm so down on myself. I so depressed that Queen F4 didn't work, and my bishop had to circle around, and now I played a passive move Rook F1. But the game is not over.
Okay, let me show you this. I got to go take care of these evil children in a second. So,
All right,
Queen
indeed.
D6. This is a mistake. And
Okay.
one thing that's interesting about this, well, you're going to see. Actually, before you go, I want to get your intuition about this. So, just first of all, this thing that happens. I was feeling a little frisky here. I felt like maybe I was the one who was better, and I'm definitely okay after this Queen B6 move. But first, I should show you the trick. And what's the trick here? If the trick is if here, and then his bishop's gone. So that was my tactical basis of this Queen B6 move, right?
Oh, very good.
Okay, but here it gets wild. So I saw this move, but I didn't really believe in it because I felt like, in general, if I get the bishop and blah, 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 I would be at least okay. Watch what happens.
Yeah.
Pop.
So the simple capture on E4 was not.
Okay, so the simple capture in DE4. And this is an interesting position.
Oh, yeah, so that's what. No, yeah, it's standard, yeah.
And I don't know, I would say white's a little bit better in this position, right?
Well, some people would say so, yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
Some people wouldn't be very impressed. But,
So check this out.
Well, I can understand why you wanted to do better. Oh, different way. So the bishop.
Okay, so before I ask you to get your intuition, let me show you a couple more moves. I played Queen F6.
Brilliant tactic.
The real brilliancy is that Knight H6 doesn't work. If Knight H6 worked, that'd be painful, but unfortunately for him, it's the same problem. It's the same problem. So, okay. Knight H4. Knight D5.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing, though, Yermo. At this stage, I was thinking, I gotta be better. Hey, buddy, can you give me a second? I was thinking, I gotta be better. I felt like I had the initiative, yada, yada. I felt like the Knight on H4 is terrible. But here's the thing. I didn't appreciate, even though I feel like this position is, let's say, close to equal or something, I didn't appreciate that the Knight on H4 actually is very clever. Because when it goes to G2, it's going to hit E1, F4, E3. And he's going to have like a dark square control where this bishop is it's kind of a chump,
Yeah, well, it's hard to get this bishop involved, yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is in this position, Rook D5, I didn't feel the danger.
Maybe this position is strangely balanced.
Yeah. My intuition was wrong. I just really felt like I should be better.
There are a lot of things that come in clashing with each other, but in the end, it is hard to tell.
So I felt like maybe if I had recognized the danger, which I didn't, then maybe I should have traded and done that immediately. Gotten this position.
So that way your opponent C5 is safe because he cannot completely abandon the back rank thing.
Well, it's a tactical variation that has to be investigated, but I felt like I have good compensation in this position.
No, also he has to cover. Probably with the knight, right?
Right, and here I felt like even if I take here, which threatens Rook D1, that this is unclear. Because now my bishop's out, right? Now my bishop
your bishop is out and you're only down one pawn.
Yeah.
You can play this position. Of course you can play it.
Yeah. So, right. But again, in order to play this move, I would have to understand the danger.
No, you would have to come with terms with the, the disposition being, not necessarily better for you. Yeah.
So check out what happens. Pop,
Daddy?
queen c1, exclam. Great movement. Pop, underestimated that one. That was great, man. Rookie 1. Brilliant.
Well, yeah, so now he has pressure against c5.
And here, very interesting position where I have to admit that I'm worse. Or I have to admit that there's trouble. Let's put it that way. I have to admit there's trouble. And I think the best, buddy, can you not pull on my arm for a second?
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy. I was thinking that maybe, let me just ask you, Yermo, here. Pop. And I felt like, so the problem is this knight comes and it's really annoying.
No, well, you didn't have time to restrict it. I suppose you didn't want to play g5.
I tried, Yermo, for hours. I tried to make g5 work, but unfortunately...
But the c5 pawn is always hanging.
Yeah. But this position, I feel like, especially from a practical perspective, since I'm now kind of sort of threatening to play g5, that
you think
now my bishop's, I have good chances at something happening here for me. I don't know. But this one, I feel like this is the best I could get, Yermo, in my analysis for black.
But so he's looking to play b4.
And
If you
maybe
take with the queen, that'll be rude.
that might just win on the spot, Yermo. You might have busted my
I
bridge.
don't know. Well, I thought maybe you considered it and found something which I
No, I didn't see before. I didn't think that was
well,
possible.
then it's just
Oh my god.
Daddy?
just one move and you pretty much busted.
Can you give me 5 minutes and I'll get you a cookie, okay, buddy? How about that?
I said, can I have a baby?
Well, yeah.
Orange?
Juggling responsibilities. Like,
So
don't-
here, Yermo, I think even if that's true, dude, then I didn't even come up. So already then, what has to be said, I think, is that when he achieves queen c1, rook e1, then I'm already worse. Amazingly, Yermo. But I look at this position. Even now, with the knight on h4, I'm still like, can it really be
No,
that
but
I'm worse in this
around,
position?
So queen d6, I was hoping to get this rook d1, but
Right, then he goes knight g2.
Daddy goes night.
no, maybe you do this if it works.
You go pop.
I mean, I was
Huh?
trying to do
Huh?
this.
Look at this. This knight e1 is a genius.
No, I don't know. That is still the knight is not so great. I mean, so what's the issue here? No, okay, play some nothing move. I don't know, h6. Why is that so? I mean, at least you did something constructive. You're not dropping your opponent c5 for nothing. Maybe
And-
bishop a6 was also an idea to hit a2, kind of, but.
Let me go back a second. Buddy, can you give me a second?
No, I think if you regain the control of the d file, then well, you're not lost yet. Okay, maybe you don't like your position, but I think to me it seems like you're going through a roller coaster of emotions during the game. You know, like okay, you were winning, and you found a lot of brilliant things, but then somehow they didn't work, and maybe you got little too down on yourself.
No, I think I'm worse in this position, though, man.
No, well, whatever. I don't know, better, worse, you know, like they don't. Well, you mark in the woe chart, you know, one, half a point, well, sometimes 0. They don't mark this worse and whatnot. What do you care?
Yermo, I'm being attacked, buddy. I'm being attacked.
Well, anyways, well, you the boss here, you tell. I probably took too much time, you know. The game is very long and it certainly takes more than 1 hour to figure it out.
This was the beginning of my downward trend, though, right here. Okay, my friends, unfortunately, I gotta go. I'm dealing with the animals today. There was no school. All right, everybody. Yermo, it was a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, stay
All right,
warm.
all right, bye.